I've reached out to some of the biggest names in UFO lore, okay? They all got skiff flu, and we call it skiff flu, meaning like the day that the skiff was open that we reserved it, we're like, we're here, like, come on, come brief us. They get sick or their dog dies.
So they ghost you?
They ghost us. Yeah, so I'm like, well, if you're not gonna tell me to skip, then you're full of crap.
Or you're scared for your life because you're just a scientist.
I'm not interested in hearing about people's books. I'm interested in hearing about whether or not people can answer the questions, because we are trying to get this into the archive.
All right, that had nothing to do with this episode, but we just love that clip, and we're in the middle of the Luna saga. But this actually maybe has a little bit to do with it, but we'll see. Let's shout out the chat really quick. Let me know if you guys could hear me. Oh, wait. Yeah. Let me know if you guys could hear me. Just double check. I got my microphone all in a different situation because last time Lou remote view attacked it. But we got Coin Exchange here. Red Panda Koala Kool-Aid is now available for subscribers. Montezuma says, oh shit, I was getting tired then I saw this. Bolt of energy struck me. Yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I got energy. Let's just do it. I'm trying to do more of these, trying to get in a good groove. You know, whenever one of these like story breaks, just do it live with the chat. Coin Exchange, happy face, hell yeah. Paul Shields says hello. Coin Exchange again. Oh great, Panda will have Luna and Elizondo brought to her in chains. Oh yes, you know what is prophesied. Miss A, excited to see what you got for us, Red. Yes, interesting topic, went hella viral. But it's something I think worth discussing. It's all this back channel, end of the world back channel talk. Let's see. Lou needs more than 3 days notice, says Paul Shields. Miss A says, smash the like on your way in. It's like it's your last thrill. In like it's your last thrill. Hell yeah, everyone go smash that like video or like audio good. Thank you for that. 7 ounces. That clip was fire. We do love it. Should we we'll just hit the beginning of it a little bit.
I've reached out to some of the biggest names in UFO lore, okay? They all got skiff flu, and we call it skiff flu, meaning like the day that the skiff was open that we reserved it, we're like, we're here, like, come on, come brief us. They get.
I need to update it so that we have the golf cart footage in there. Yeah, I need to update that. Skywalker OC says, I can hear again. Thank you, Jesus. You can hear, hell yeah. Tracy Suss says, good morning to all. Yes, she's in the UK. Ancient Library says, appreciate the work. Great. Thank you. We're out here grinding for truth. Not ready to give up on Lou. Alpine Infern, I like it. Not ready to give up on Lou. You know what? I can't blame people for being like that. I just feel like I've seen too much. But yeah, I get why people do. Damn. Absolute smoke show. Yeah, everyone loves Luna. We'll give it one more time so you guys stick around. Hit that like, hit that super chat, comment in here, have fun.
I've reached out to some of the biggest names in UFO lore, okay? They all got skiff flu, and we call it skiff.
Okay, so let's begin. I guess first what we should start is just here. And then we're going to kind of go around a bit, but
Ivan Handel situation.
So this went viral on X, 2 days ago or so? And here we have Jonathan Davies coming into my space to basically say that Ivan Handel, Lou Elizondo's lawyer right here, is telling people in the back channels that the world's going to end. Now, this is something that's not even unique to Ivan. And for the record, and we're going to cover that too, we did get a statement from Ivan where he denies these allegations. So we're going to talk about the end of the world stuff right here. And we're also going to talk about the way that like these counter intel people like use the media and play intermediaries to like send messaging. So just, you know, for the record, me and Jonathan Davies have some history that maybe I'll cover here, maybe I'll cover another place. But he's connected to people. He's connected to, I think, Hal Puthoff, Jay Stratton, allegedly. He just leaked that Bass report from a month and a half, 2 months ago, that even John Greenwald and Stephen Greenstreet both were shocked that it was public. I guess this had been a long rumored report that was unfoyable, and he was the one who released it without any redactions or anything like that. So just kind of worth noting. And yeah, I guess we'll just let this ride, and then we'll talk about it more.
Or Hanel.
Okay, I know Lou, and I got to learn about Ivan Handel, and I invited him to join a chat group. And he basically immediately on joining the chat group started messaging everyone in the group and basically asking them if they'd prepared for the end of the world. It's not the sort of thing you do when you join a fairly high-level chat group. It's very strange. I looked into the guy. I don't know whether anyone's actually looked into who Ivan Handel is or looked at his bio. He's got missing years in his bios, which is a bit strange.
Tell us about it. Tell us about him.
Well, he's got.
Yeah, that's another thing. 7 ounces here, the Bass report that gave you malware. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Davies has his own history. You know, I'm trying to work stuff out with him because I'm very curious about some of the information he's privy to. So, yeah, but that's a good point.
a good few years missing in his bio. You know, look at
what years is it? Is it 2002 to 2008 time frame?
Yeah.
Just
So
like
what was
just
he
like
doing?
lose
What
just
was he
like
doing
lose
during
missing
this
time,
period?
just like lose missing time period from his book that he's very vague about during that time frame.
So this is getting into maybe you see me post about it next time. This is about the CIFA stuff, Counterintelligence Field Activity Office, which was this missing piece in Lou's history that no one really knew exactly what, like even more so than they did stuff. Like, what were you doing from like 2002 to 2005? Really, you're really vague about it, or 2008, really vague about it. That's what this is referencing. I'm gonna do a in-depth stream with Tupa on my main channel. Hopefully this week. It's a lot of work to collect all the different little data points, but that's what that's about.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I basically don't trust the guy. I mean, I told him to stop messaging people and stop doing what he was doing. He also opened his own chat group at the same time and started poaching members from my group, and denied that when I said, "Why are you doing this? And can you please stop?" Okay,
was he getting
yeah, I'll
specific
stop, he
with
then
what's
said.
coming to the people?
Sorry?
Was he getting specific with what? How is the world going to end, or the like?
No.
You know what I mean?
No, that was the other thing. He was very unspecific. You know, it was all prepare your family and have you talked to your family and all this sort of shit.
People are like, prepare them for what? Like pole shift, alien invader. He just is like,
yeah,
I can't
something
say.
bad is coming. Basically, something bad is coming. It's coming soon. Prepare your family. It was bullshit. It's not the sort of thing a lawyer would do. That's the first thing.
Yeah. How about the thing? Do you ever hear what happened with him and Karl Nell and Danny Sheehan, where he was like, after the hearing, he was kind of tweeting that he wanted to fight. I think Karl Nell. Do you know whatever happened there?
Yeah, but I don't want to go into that.
We'll get into that. We're just starting our little thing here. It's all good, all fun. Okay. Is there anything else you kind of want to say about that? Do you think he believes it from what you're hearing from people? Does he really believe it? I'd imagine. I could see
I
it.
just think he's spreading false.
And this is where it gets
narratives.
interesting too, because now Karl Nell is being accused of spreading these kinds of things in the back channel. So maybe we'll let this ride. But then I did want to kind of do a brief segue just into some stuff about how these counterintel people play the media that I think is worth noting.
You've got to ask why.
Why do you think, when you've thought everything through, what do you think's going on here?
I don't really want to go into that either.
Well, most
All right. It's our first date. I get it,
Reg,
Jonathan.
you record these, and I'm based on the things that you've done to me in the past. I'm not going to be as open as I would normally be. Sorry.
And let's address that because this is what 7 Ounce is talking about here. Jon Davies seems to always be involved in these weird situations. See Chris Gray, and yeah, this is one thing that one of the reasons why I think Jon Davies wouldn't like me, because I do harp on. So if you guys don't know, and I'm gonna have to do some stream at some point because it's kind of just on X, but obviously there's some harassment group going on. But then also this guy named Christopher Gray, who served as a healing or a liaison for faith healings and was also doxing people. He ended up murdering his dad by stabbing him 110 times and filming it and sending it to a bunch of people from UFO Twitter and talking about Chris Bledsoe and the lady. And that was Christopher Gray. And various people have said that Jonathan Davies and Christopher Gray were really good friends and that they were doxing people together. Now, I've never talked to Jonathan Davies about any of this, so I do want to talk to him about that probably before I end up doing my stream on it, because I do want to get his perspective and I could kind of feel empathy for him. But that's just kind of a little data point on what that's talking about. Let me see if I could add some stuff too that we got here. I guess to that point exactly, we got this. So this was already publicly out there, that he sent to someone where he says, so you alone are Chris has been given a big message to spread, and he was told to select others who would need to help spread the message he has. Selected me. This must stay between us. So he's connected to people like Chris Bledsoe, right? Serving as a healing or a liaison for faith healings. He's also connected to, this is all publicly out there stuff. I'm not trying to come at Jonathan Davies. I'm just trying to give context on even why, like, I would even post this video that he said, right? He's not just, you know what I mean? Like, he's connected to people. Yeah. So this is a little email we got. UFO Joe had a thread. I wanted to clear this up. In various places, I Want to Know UK, Jonathan Davies has claimed he was in contact with Hal Puthoff every day. Hal hasn't replied to my emails in the past year, or he did in the past, so I arrogantly thought John might be delusional and make it up. And then so he checked in with Hal. So according to I Want to Know UK, he talks to Hal Puthoff every single day. UFO Joe, pretty prominent UFO account there, sharing news and whatnot. He tries to talk to Hal Puthoff. He gets ghosted for a year. What does Hal Puthoff say in response to Joe? Hi, Joe. First, I do occasionally communicate with Jon Davies, as he often sends me interesting links and sometimes comment on them. I sometimes comment on them, though every day would be an exaggeration. I'm encouraged by the legislative language and action, but we'll have to wait and see if the usual bureaucracy gets in the way. Fingers crossed. Overall, I think the interview with Eric Weinstein was a plus, despite the condescension. Meanwhile, attached is a new publication of mine. Best regards, Hal. Oh, I didn't even realize this was about the Eric Weinstein interview. That's interesting. I missed that the first time. Overall, I think the interview with Eric Weinstein was a plus despite the condescension. What was the condescension? That must have been about the Scientology stuff. Maybe? But real quick, we have some super chats. Miss A, keep kicking the hornet's nest. Can we even still call it that at this point out? I know, right? It's getting wild out here. Thank you. Lolun says, what if Karl Nell slipped into the UAP community, dropped truths about non-human tech, then faded back into covert government and private sector work after his 2024 disclosure fund exit for strategic planning disclosure? That would be interesting. And Lolun, thank you for another super chat. And you always have really interesting things to say. I'm curious who you are. No, I'm not going to dox or anything, but I'm just like, oh, you seem well informed on some of the inner minutia. 7 ons. I don't think Jon Davies would deny having a relationship with Gray. He's just going to downplay it, though. Yeah, you know what I mean? So there's that, and that's when to say it's evil. Let's get back to the first clip. Let's see.
I get that. We got to work towards it. I get it. I totally do. And you said some things about me too, but I get it. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, but what did
I was retaliating.
I've never hurt you, Jonathan. You can be honest with me. DM me all the secrets.
Okay, so yeah, end of the world.
I've actually met Danny Sheehan, and he's actually really cool. Has anyone met him in person?
No, he seems cool. His hair seems really cool.
That's mainly
what did it look like in real life?
Perfect. Like his pictures. And he's very set on justice. I talked to him about our whistleblower report, and he was basically like, if I take you guys on, it's because of getting justice. It's not about getting money, and it's not about letting the hedge funds off. It's, we're going to go all the way to the top. And it was a whole thing. It was very intimidating.
Yeah, so that makes me go, why is Lou's new lawyer, after the hearing, wanting to fight Danny Sheehan, an old man with nice curly hair who just seems to in my opinion.
Because Danny looked into his bio.
Oh, yep. See, and that's what I was always like, damn it, did Lou get to Danny? But then I was always kind of
Muted. There we go. Hello, test. So this is what that's referencing. After the November 13th hearing, Ivan Handel, Lou Elizondo's lawyer, kind of went on this Twitter rage storm, which I didn't understand at the time, and I still honestly really don't understand exactly what happened. But Lou Elizondo's new lawyer was, I think he wanted to fight Karl Nell, which we're going to read, and he was throwing shade at Danny Sheehan. Just so you guys have all the context of what that clip was about, because it went viral, and some people might be wondering some of the little undertones that were in that clip, what that's all about. So Ivan Handel says, to everyone, this week was a tremendous accomplishment, and while I would like to focus on positivity, one of the pathetic tendencies in this community is to forever ignore the bad actors and their bad intentions. We hide the truth consistently in order to protect parasocial interest or parochial interest, because someone allegedly knows something intriguing or is close to the levers of power or can get you an unpaid job or an invite to a conference or other sorts of bullshit. Well, guess what? I could leave ufology today and be totally fine. Everybody knows I'm an excellent lawyer. I have very good income from many sources, and it is very secure. I'm not on a personal mission to prove anything about aliens. I'd probably wave them off from the entire planet. Restrooms closed, crazy people inside. Please drive by. I'm only here to return some dignity to the process of civics in the United States. It's a narrow mission, and it will continue. But I will not tolerate two things. First, it's the people who try to harm me and others due to extraordinarily selfish and narrow-minded interests. Second, it's the people who allow these people to do that and harm others simply because they are too afraid to do anything. It's like that old saying that the only thing evil needs to succeed is for good men to allow it. Sadly, there are some people I know who reside in one or both categories. But some people should understand I find those people to be cowards, and the thing I respect the least of all is cowardice. I can forgive cowards, and the thing I respect the least of all is cowardice. Oh, sorry. I can forgive most other faults, and sorry, I'm being super faded while reading this. I can forgive most other faults and can be very what's that word? Oh, and can be the very nicest person in the world, as many people know. But if you are not willing to stand up for others, I think you're spineless. And although I will not try to intentionally harm you, if you're collateral damage, I'm totally fine with that. It's like the morons who allow Hamas to do terrible things, and everybody claims they're innocent victims. You can't ignore terrorists right around you and think it's all okay because you're just a nice guy who stays quiet. Guess what? It's not okay to just nice people in a world, or to be just nice people in a world where there are bad people. There must be people who actually pick up the stick and fight. There was a person I spoke to in this week who said there are not enough women in ufology. I agree with this 100%. But my next thought was there isn't enough men either. The whispering campaign against me and even Lou from people close to him will stop. If not, they will find themselves in litigation very soon. Letters going out. The last thing to say is this. If any of us here in ufology thinks that we can take on the US government while feeling fearful of minor nitwits who variously are begging for jobs behind the scenes or being paid money to do bad things to me in the literal halls of the house, or spending their time spreading falsehoods, stop lying to yourselves. You have no bravery and would fold in a second to any pressure. I have lost fights before, physical and mental, but the only fight I regret were the ones I failed to fight in the first place. Okay, so sorry if I read that super fadedly. I have to I'm far away from my computer because my mic. But I'm just going to give my honest take on this, and Ivan, hopefully if you're listening or something, I feel like you're getting activated in the back channels, because this is all energy that we'll see next is directed at Lou, or at Ivan, or at, sorry, so many names, Karl Nell and Danny Sheehan. And real quick, we do have a super chat. Missed you this summer, RPK. Good to see all the YouTube stuff is behind you and you're back. Hell yeah, I know. I was kicking off this platform for months, guys. We are back. Oh, and we got Ken Racer here. Let's go. I came back, but thank you. Hey, Ocean. Heart, fire emoji, eye emoji. Logan Black in the chat. Hell yeah, game on. Sorry, my reading comprehension skills are not that good. I'm at a distance. I think I read pretty well. But he's activated, bro. He's saying people are doing whisper campaigns against him. Friends of Lou are doing this. To me, this just reads like Lou's manipulating him. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, and by the way, thank you for that super chat. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's see. Let's continue along real quick. And this is like all over the place. I'm sorry, but let's see. He also had this one. Oh, actually, wait, no, this one first. At New Paradigm Institute, Danny Sheehan. This is Ivan Handel. This is the day of the hearing again. This is what I'm referencing, just so people have the full context if they heard the clip. Danny, don't ever tell me how to publicly represent a client of mine, ever. I have the text from July 23rd, 2024, when I was walking the halls of Congress. By the way, you write like an 8-year-old. And your imbecile associate in uniform, Colonel Dimwit. So this is how we know they're talking about Danny Sheehan and Colonel Karl Nell, who at the time, it seemed like everything was cool with everyone. So this was like really weird. And to your imbecile associate in uniform, Colonel Dimwit, who I don't even know is if they're on X, UAP are real, NHI are real, but you are not. Okay, I kind of not gonna lie. The sass shit I do when it's like fuck it, we're already in a circus. Let's just throw the sass on. He's doing a play on Colonel Karl Nell's EAP are real, NHI are real. You know what I mean? That thing that he has, that saying that he has. So he's doing a play on that. Fuck it, we're having fun. Decent people do not carry water for others with highly improper motivations. I cannot believe you were ever in our military in any capacity. No wonder you didn't make general. Go fuck yourself. If you carry on this defamation campaign, I have many legal options and others as well. So he's accusing Colonel Karl Nell of doing a defamation campaign against himself and Lou Elizondo. Now, the thing is, I had no idea about any of this shit. It's not like we had seen Karl Nell on an interview or something. Oh, Logan, hell yeah, with the $1. Thank you, brother. Everyone go follow Logan on X. We've never seen Colonel Karl Nell say anything publicly bad about any of these people. So this was really the first kind of glimpse of that. Very weird. And yeah, this is all probably dumb drama, but also at the same time, is this counterintelligence fuckery? And it just made to look like drama, so people go like, that's drama. Let's just talk about UFOs. Well, me and Tupa, we're not afraid to wade in the gutter and let you guys know what the hell's going on. Let's see. So let's just read the go fuck yourself. No wonder you didn't make general. Go fuck yourself. If you carry on this defamation campaign, I have many legal options, and others will attest. And the reason we go to the hearing, and the reason we got to the hearing yesterday in the first place is because I employ them. So I guess they're talking about Lou Elizondo right there, right? Or no, he's not. I guess it's just in general legal tactics. I'm sorry. And if you ever say what you said about me in person while I was walking with you in the halls of the house, can you agree that we can respectfully go to a nearby MMA gym and settle this? I mean, you pretend you are tough because of your military background, but you are an effing coward. I don't know who I despise more, you or Danny. One does the wrong, the other abets it. You both are toxic for ufology. And tell Jim that I have record of his text in that dumb signal group. So is that to Jim Semivan or Jim Lakatsky? Put in the chat who you think. But the Elfinator says, truthfully, this sounds like Hannell is a good pit bull lawyer. Yeah, I mean, maybe there is some shit going on in the back channels that we really don't know about. But I'm kind of inclined when I look at the temperament of Lou and then the temperament of Danny and Karl Nell, kind of inclined to think that Ivan here is getting activated in the back channels. But who knows? We really don't know what the hell is going on here in the background. I think we have one more. Maybe we'll read it. Maybe we won't. Let's see. And to the old hippie who I was told cut in line to enter the hearing and ended up sitting behind me. Oh my God. I gotta admit, bro, I love the pettiness. We're already, like I said, we're already in the circus. Fuck it. Let's be petty. Oh, and to the old hippie who I was told cut in line to enter the hearing and ended up sitting behind me. So he's saying like, bitch, you cut in line, but I still had a seat in front of you. That's so funny. The world we live in. Lou Elizondo's lawyer right here at the hearing, Danny Sheehan. Okay. See. Your attempts to paint me as IC get me kicked out of a conference I never even had applied to attend, and send an on the spectrum bird to tell me not to work with an org while I was literally walking in the halls of the house last summer shows me you really are profiteers on others' hopes. Okay, hold up. I have to talk to Ivan Hannell because now I'm starting to get the feeling of another one of these weirdo situations where people are having these like weird IRL interactions. Let's read this back again. Your attempts to paint me as I see, get me kicked out of a conference I never attended or never even applied to attend, and send an on the spectrum bird to tell me not to work with an org while I was literally walking the halls of the house last summer. I would love to know more about what that's about. Ivan, hit me up in the back channels if you want. Or maybe we'll do a space in the public about it. Because I'm going to be doing a stream about this later, but there's a lot of these weird... you could go look at your compatriot, Matt Ford, right? Still on your side. He has another... There's these weird stories that come up that I'm going to be doing a stream all about. Anyways, I missed that. Shows us who you really are. And let's cut back to what Davies said. This might be all over the place, but fuck it.
Kind of like with Chase.
Our whistleblower report, and he was basically like, if I take you guys on, like, it's because of getting justice. Like, it's not about getting money, and it's not about, letting the hedge funds off. It's, we're going to go all the way to the top. And it was a whole thing. It was very intimidating.
Yeah, so that makes me go, why is Lou's new lawyer, after the hearing, like wanting to fight Danny Sheehan, like an old man with like nice curly hair who just seems to like, in my opinion.
Because Danny looked into his bio.
Oh, yep. See, and that's what I was always like, damn it, did Lou get to Danny? But then I was always kind of like with Chase or whatever. It's like, I think there's some.
Shout out Chase. So yeah, it's kind of like back to this. So these accusations that Ivan's talking about, being accused of being in the IC, we're kind of hearing it from, but again, we don't know what the information flow in all this space is. Everyone's like doing back channel shit and studying it publicly, so we can't just address stuff. But fuck it. You are only good for fundraising, podcasts, and repeating your insufferable origin story. I am done with you and the weak people who continue to tolerate your mendacity and ill will. You blemish this great effort. Fuck around, find out. You forget I'm actually a real lawyer. So I don't know what the hell happened at the hearing. What do you guys think happened? Do you guys think, because this is a little backtrack, and I did do another stream back in the day with Arthur about this, but do you really think Danny Sheehan and Karl Nell are conniving in the back channels against Lou and Ivan here? Or do you think someone's working up Ivan to think that? You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess Lou is, like, he's still Lou's lawyer, so I'd imagine this is all kind of sanctioned from Lou. You know what I mean? I feel like if Ivan really did some shit that was, like, super out of pocket, he still wouldn't be Lou's lawyer. You know what I mean? Josh says, friend of the show, Nell is covering up aerogel tech for his old bosses at Lockheed. This aerogel thing keeps on coming up all the time. Maybe we'll have to do a stream with with Josh and my other friend LM. Ancient Library says, very little connection to actual ufology. That is just a broken man using X to antagonize and vent on random people. Just my opinion, not even counter intel. Yeah, well, maybe he's not, but he's still in the purview of all this. And again, a reason why I bring this all up is because it got mentioned in that clip that went hella viral. And then also now all of a sudden we're hearing that Karl Nell is being accused in the back channels of spreading this end of the world narrative. So kind of this inverse flip. Lou Elizondo's lawyer calls people out to an MMA gym to settle disputes. And honestly, what if we did something at Bombshells, bro? We went over to Bombshells, had a fight night or something like that. That'd be kind of fun, would it not? Let me see if I could add something from Bombshells real quick. We're having fun. We're all over the place. Where are we at? Oh yeah, here we go. What if we did fight night at Bombshells? He wants a legally sanctioned MMA. What if we just got a bunch of these weird disputes and these feuds and we just settled it at Bombshells? That'd be kind of fun. And guess what? That loads. We got this stuff. Get the dude in the octagon with Jeremy Reese. Oh, apparently Jeremy can fight too. He wants to throw down with people, so let's all do it. Reggie and Friends. LOL. 7 ounce. That would be the battle of retard. LOL. So much stressful backstabbing. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy world out here in this UFO land because all these people are counter intel and they all got egos and then they also have these weird religious beliefs that motivate them and they all think also the world's going to end, which motivates them. It's a mess. It's a mess, but honestly, it is kind of fascinating to watch unfold. And if this all does lead to disclosure, I'm sure someone somewhere down the line will be happy that all these little minutiae are kind of documented. Harry Loco, aerogel shapeshifting craft makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Lil Lun, Daniel Sheehan's story about seeing classified UFO photos and sketching symbols from a crashed saucer is intriguing, but is a nothing burger, as is the original drawings he snuck out are missing. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. All right, we're going to continue along with, I think there's a little bit more that Jonathan Davies says about the whole end of the world thing we're going to play, and then we'll see where we go next.
Are good. And, sometimes it's kind of good to let the good people in around there and like let them look around. And then I always had a feeling that like when he really saw what Lou and that crew was doing, he would kind of not be okay with it. And that kind of is what I got the vibe of why they did that. So it was his bio, huh? I'll DM you something in the back channel there, Jonathan Davies. If you unblock me, but yeah, that was a really weird thing. And like you said, with this other thing, like lawyers aren't really typically threatening to fight other lawyers. Lawyers aren't really typically in the back channels DMing people the world's going to end. What do you think's going on here? What's going on, Jonathan? I feel like you and I both have been around since the beginning of that, at least the 2017 stuff, watching everything play out. What's going on and what do you think, where is it all leading?
That's a massive question. I really don't know. I mean, if it's specific, I'll try and answer a question, but
okay, on a specific beat, I've
talked to a lot of the people at the top, and I don't think they really know what's going on, or a lot of them don't. And the ones that do are never going to be able to speak.
What's up with age of disclosure? And then Logan's got a question for you. Why is that being held up? I saw one rumor that
you were spot on.
Okay, that one.
That is what's stopping that.
Okay, and so that is about apparently allegedly there's like a rift between Lou Elizondo and Dan Farah, allegedly. I don't know much about that, to be honest. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for Lou, but it's also like a bed of his own making. Like, and now it's all like poor guy's getting it all at once. You know what I mean? But also, like I said, his own making. Let's see what we got here. 7 ounce says, "Look, if Ivan listens to people like Darren, it's easily imaginable that he can be worked up by false information. That's a true fact." Lil Lund says, "MMA at the White House." 7 ounce says, "Hell yeah, bombshells, cocktails, and lawyer MMA." I'm telling you, I think they should just do it. Lean into it, Lou. You got bombshells. I know you're trying to be all like machismo there. Let's just have bar fights there. TJ Mills says, "Ivan sounds unhinged. A good lawyer would never air this on X, even if these are drunk rants." And again, we have to consider he's still Lou's lawyer. So in my opinion, that signifies that Lou sanctioned all those things. Lou does interesting stuff. We'll put it that way. Theo says, "Fight night at Bombshells, $1 shots of Chardonnay." I'm telling you guys, it would be fun. Lou, you guys should do it. Grant Levac, friend of the show, says, "Some fear-mongering going on." Yes, and this is the main point, too. I want to say, too, don't act like the world's going to end, in my opinion. And even if it is, right, like, who gives a fuck, like you're going to die? But I've just seen this be used and weaponized in a way where people get activated in the back channels. and then all of a sudden they act all erratic and like all crazy. I've seen a few good people, you know, it happens to good people. That's what I'm saying. Even if this is true, which we'll play later, Ivan says isn't true. It's not even Ivan's fault. Like if you're told by someone you trust, like Lou, who you really believe is like the UFO guy and an honest dude, that like the world's going to end, it changes people's brains. I've seen it happen many of times in this field. This end of the world talk. Paul Shields, my attitude is those who resort to personal attacks have already lost. Yes, agreed. Miss A says the skiff flu is directly linked to the previous administration's agenda. Fearmongers and narrative manipulators. Their BS hit and dead end. Lil Lund says it's hard for some to just let others believe what they want. Maybe. Josh says 100%. I assume that's to me. TK Mills says if Ivan was my attorney, I'd ask for my money back and represent myself. Well, you have to ask yourself. He hasn't done that. So, like I said, Lou's in on this. The role of mental illness for intelligence agents is extremely high, and they generally go untreated. Oh, the rate. Agreed. And also, it's kind of disturbing because they're trained in this, and it seems like there's a unfortunate pattern of mental or counterintelligence agents who are fully aware of like kind of psychological shit that most people aren't, who are weaponizing mentally unstable people who are like actually insane. It's like the Joker type stuff, like mental institution type people are doing the dirty work for these counterintelligence agents trained on profiling people and making people susceptible to what you want. It's a really nasty place out there. Josh, the CCP invasion of Taiwan is a realistic fear. Asteroid aliens is not. Also, yeah, Avi wants a bunch of money. One could spiral badly into the fantasy. We got a few more left, and then we'll continue along. Miss A. They, Lou, and Mel and crew were all in when the narrative was pushing fear, conflict, and war. Now that there's transparency and exposure, they're hopping on the first and fastest nope train. Flyether. Them continuing to hide unlimited energy. They're all investing in fusion companies knowing the direction of the future. And that's true, Flyether. Maybe I'll get you on a stream and we could go through it one time, because I feel like Joe Rogan is like all in on the amnesty stuff, and it seems like he's invested in Earth Tech or something. Okay, let's continue along here. So I guess first we're almost done, although we're already gone, 30 minutes. We'll do, so we got Ivan Hanel's response.
Whatsoever.
And I don't even hate Ivan Hanel. Like, I feel like, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt until I'm like absolutely sure. And very likely that this dude just got in the orbit of Lou. And, a lot of times people get in the orbit of Lou and weird shit happens to them. Maybe it's Lou, maybe it's somebody around Lou that's just making weird shit happen to people. We got so many examples that I'm going to go in my stream with Tupa on my main channel, hopefully like this week. But let's watch this. Here's his response to, and again, we'll just play the beginning of that Davies one real quick, just so you can hear that part.
Well, I guess you're sounding good now, so let's start from the beginning of this whole Ivan Hanel situation. Or Hanel.
Okay, I know Lou, and I got to learn about Ivan Hanel, and I invited him to join a chat group. And he basically, immediately on joining the chat group, started messaging everyone in the group and basically asking them if they'd prepared for the end of the world. It's not the sort of thing you do when you join a fairly high-level chat group. It's very strange. I looked into the guy. I don't know whether anyone's actually looked into who Ivan Hanel is or looked at his bio. He's got missing years in his bios, which is a bit strange.
Tell us about it. Tell us about him.
Well, he's got a good few years missing in his bio. Look at it.
What years? Is it 2002 to 2008 time frame?
Yeah.
I'm so activated.
Just like Lou's missing time. Just like Lou's missing time period from his book that he's very vague about during that time frame. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I basically don't trust the guy. I mean, I told him to stop messaging people and stop doing what he was doing. He also opened his own chat group at the same time and started poaching members from my group, and denied that when I said, "Why are you doing this? And can you please stop?" Okay,
was he getting specific with what's coming to the people?
Sorry? Was
he getting specific with what? How is the world going to end, or the like?
No,
you know what I mean?
No, that was the other thing. He was very unspecific. It was all prepare your family and have you talked to your family and all this sort of shit.
People are like, prepare them for what? Like pole shift, alien invasion. He just is like, I can't say.
Something bad is coming. Basically, something bad is coming.
Okay, so we got Ivan there, and then let's get to Ivan's response here. And Coin Exchange had a good question. Do you think that the three, Nell, Sheehan, and Ivan, are all on the same page when it comes to executing disclosure? It sounds like not, but at the same time, I never know if people are like just doing something for theatrics. It's really confusing and not at times not fun information space to navigate, but also at the same time like
I have
rewarding
no
because it is kind of. I feel like this is a much more confusing information space than like I don't know, like puppies or something. You know what I mean?
absolutely no. I have no belief whatsoever in any of these dates. I think it's bullshit. So you. Oh, by the way, you can play this for everybody. I just think it's nonsense. I think it's storytelling by crazy people. I mean, no matter how much I tell people, hey, I have no idea about this stuff, they're like, no, but tell us the true date. It's like, what would you do anyway if like 2032 was some, alien appearance through, intergalactic whatever, or some interdimensional stuff? What would you do? I mean, can they at least be more specific than just 2032?
I low-key feel like he got the talk still when he's even talking here. Let's see. I mean, he would. He's the prime person who get the talk. Like, it's not a Ivan. If you're listening, it's not a knock on you that you got the end of the world talk. Like, a lot of people have gotten the end of the world talk, especially when you get close to like some of these bigger names. A lot of big names believe this shit. I don't know why. Is it just info? Do they really think something's coming? It's a narrative out there. Is it just used to manipulate people? Probably. But I'm kind of getting the feeling he got the talk. He's not like overtly saying no. Let's continue.
Can't they tell us if it's going to be like a Tuesday or is it going to be before or after tax day or Labor Day? Can I at least have Labor Day? I mean, this is so dumb, and it just shows you how dumb everybody is. There is no. I mean, I don't know. There's always a possibility. Sure. I mean, it could be 2099 or whatever. This is just so dumb. And people want to focus on it because they love it, because their lives are empty. So they're looking for some apocalypse to take them out of their boring lives. Like, get a hobby, go to work harder, work on yourself, do something awesome. But no, there's no space apocalypse or sudden appearance. And I've heard the stuff, and some of the stories were wild, man. I mean, some were crazy. I mean, one was really fun. It was actually in the halls of Congress. That was, I mean, it didn't give me a date, but it just said that, it was the story about like blue planet and souls and stuff. But it was, trust me, not anybody famous who told it to me, So this is just craziness. And I don't buy any of it. I'm not saying, I'm not being mean to anybody, but I just don't believe it. I don't believe any of that stuff. I'm not a big, UFO or NHI guy in the first place. I just think there's a probability that there's some program in the government to figure.
So the person speaking, sorry if I didn't make it clear, is Lou Elizondo's lawyer, Ivan Hanel, responding to these accusations from Jonathan Davies that he's in the back channels spreading this like end of the world, prepare your family's narrative. Yeah.
Stuff out, and probably something was there. That's about it. That's as far as I go. I'm not committed to any of this in the way that you guys are. And so years and stuff like that, it seems absurd to me.
Missy says, I'm having a hard time believing a licensed attorney lacks an ounce of discernment or recognizes a comment on site. Which, it's really interesting. Like in here, he's talking about, if there's a terrorist here attacking people, like you do the right thing. And so it's like, brother, like the person you're representing is honestly kind of all the things you're describing. So it almost makes you think that like Lou is trying to set up the things that he is, frame it in a way where Ivan Hanel thinks that Danny Sheehan and Karl Nell are that. I don't know. All right, we're almost done here. We're almost done. Where do I want to go? So I think I'm going to do the quick detour right now, and then we're going to end with the. Actually, no. Let's do this.
Quote is.
We'll do this. We'll do it this way.
Point.
So interestingly enough, today Pavel, friend of the show, had this to say. I guess let's just run it.
This quote is well known, and that's the name that I kept hearing. That's the person who was going on in Congress, going on unclassified settings, talking to either Congress staffers or Congress members, because right now, probably the best possible choices, if these were indeed Congress members, would be either Congresswoman Luna, Congressman Eric Burleson, or Congressman Tim Burchett. Those are the names that kept popping up too. And I wouldn't be doing this video if I hadn't confirmation from various sources saying the same name. It was him, according to that.
See, now I find this super interesting, right? Because, like, remember, Colonel Karl Nell already has. So we're living in the wake of like this this thing going viral with Ivan and Lou, right? Amidst all the Luna stuff, and it's been a while. Let's hit this back real quick. Amidst all this stuff,
I've reached out to some of the biggest names in UFO lore, okay? They all got skiff flu, and we call it skiff flu, meaning like the day that the skiff was open that we reserved it, we're like, we're here, like, come on, come brief us. They get sick or
and
their dog dies.
So they ghost you?
They ghost us. Yeah, so I'm like, well, if you're not gonna tell me to skiff, then you're full of crap.
Or you're scared for your life.
So what are the odds that this story breaks, that it actually Karl Nell is in the back channels? And I have a pretty close ear to the ground on all this like end of the world stuff, because I do find it to be very manipulative and harmful to people. I've never heard that he's the one in the back channels doing this. I'm not even blaming Pavel for this either. I think it's this, welcome to the gutter, Pavel. Welcome to the gutter, bro. No, it's like people try and not wade in these waters. I get it too, right? Because everyone comes here, they just want to talk about UFOs, but like the counterintelligence, the narrative control shit, like eventually you can't run from it. So Pavel putting this out today that Karl Nell, I'm curious, he probably won't reveal it, and I get it. Who is it that's convinced him that this is the case? Because you got to admit, guys, the timing of it is very interesting. Like, we just had this accusation from Jon Davies.
It's coming soon. Prepare your family.
So we just got this accusation from Jon Davies that Ivan Hanel's doing it. Ivan Hanel already has a history with Karl Nell. Karl Nell's mentioned in this clip. That history is referenced. And then now all of a sudden, Karl Nell is actually in the back channels.
He's the one.
And honestly, they might all be doing it in the back channels because they all believe it. But I just find it really interesting that this is coming out when it is. And this will be a great segue into my last little clip I'm going to play here. That's kind of a little bit of a sidebar. Let's run this back one more time.
At this point, this quote is well known. And that's the name that I kept hearing. That's the person who was going on in Congress, going on unclassified settings, talking to either Congress staffers or Congress members, because right now, probably the best possible choices if these were in.
So let's just even dissect it right here, because maybe Pavel doesn't want to give his sources, but let's think about this. The accusation is that Karl Nell is giving the end of the world talk to congressmen and Congress staffers. Who could potentially know that? I guess the staffers would. So maybe Pavel has a direct line to the staffers, or maybe I don't know. Everybody put in the comments. Who do you guys think Pavel's sources on this are? And also comment if you think it's interesting that this is coming out in the wake of this, like the other clip was just 2 days ago, right? Like, I've never heard anything about this Karl Nell thing, and now all of a sudden 2 days after, it's like, oh no, Karl Nell's actually been doing this to people for months. And again, I'm not even blaming Pavel. I'm just the timing of it all. Flyether says, if something real was coming, why would Lou be buying restaurants? Well, maybe it's the perfect way. Maybe it's the perfect middle of the country way. He already did the Busch Garden skiff. Maybe he's got to get his story straight before all these subpoenas with people in there. A lot of people will be driving through. His dad, like I said in the other one, his dad was using his restaurant to fund his paramilitary operations. But yeah, okay, let's continue.
Indeed, Congress members would be either Congresswoman Luna, Congressman Eric Burleson, or Congressman Tim Burchett. Those are the names that kept popping up too. And I wouldn't be doing this video if I hadn't confirmation from various sources saying the same name. It was him, according to that. He is the one who has been telling these people that something is coming. It's very vague. And another thing that I'm hearing.
So that is interesting. I guess we'll let this clip right out too, because it is a different point that he makes. But
and that I keep hearing, and that it has remained some type of rumor because everybody's hearing it, but nobody seems to want to say it out loud, is that Karl Nell was also a major instrumental part of the drafting of the UAPDA. And presumably he's also one of the main parts that is drafting that eminent domain part, which, if you guys haven't noticed by now, it doesn't just take stuff out of these aerospace companies. It also takes material from independent researchers who are trying to find out what's going on and trying to study materials that they find in unclassified places. And that's what they're trying to take also. Last Monday, when I reported on the civilian Axelrod, one of this person's main concerns is that they're trying to take whatever he found on that field from him. And that's something that he found in a place where it's not classified. It's just a field. And they're trying to take it from him through that UAPDA. And Karl Nell is responsible for the drafting of that UAPDA, according to the people that I've spoken with.
All right, there you go. And then, so yeah, I find it interesting this is being thrown around. I want to make it clear too, Pavel isn't accusing Karl Nell of this. He's just reporting on what's happening in the back channels, which I do commend. I think the back channel fuckery is a real problem in this field, and like the less of that there is, the better it is, and the less like weirdo conniving and people getting worked up and people trying to like, you know what I mean? There's weirdo shit going on here from people who are trained in how to break up literal, like, you know what I mean, protest movements. These are the people trained in how to do that. These are the people, here's a little teaser for you. These are the people that were infiltrating anti-Iraq war groups and stalking and harassing them and hacking them and all that shit. Same people. So this back channel shit, those are the people are back channeling with when they're doing these data dumps. And to that point here, here's a final
Jeremy McGowan.
This is one of my favorite clips, and just in terms of, I think people need to see this in terms of how the information flow in this space works as far as counter intel people go, podcast people go, the way that various people view people as assets and weaponize that and weaponize information for leverage, I think is explained quite succinctly here. This is Jeremy McGowan. Everyone should go read his articles. He's someone who got close to Lou, felt like they were like tricking him and like felt culty. They lied about his car. They did all this kind of weirdo stuff, but he was friends with Lou originally after posting his military UFO experience on Reddit. I'll probably do a full stream on him at some point. When he backed away from Lou, he got hit by the hate group, targeted, harassed, doxxed, all this crazy shit. People try to get him fired from his job, all the usual things that this little group does. And then, so he met Jay Stratton, Lou's former boss, and this is their conversation. He's asking him, what does Lou do? Now, you're going to have to take Jeremy's word for it, but I personally don't think he's just making up this situation. This is going to be on Lou Review's show. I don't think he would copyright strike me, but this is a transformative work. Lou Reviews has been making up hella shit about me, though, in the back channels, but I don't think he would copyright strike me.
One recounts a conversation.
I'm going to be talking about it the whole way through.
With Jay Stratton about McGowan's articles and Lou Elizondo.
Furthermore, Stratton also said, and this is a quote, this is not a paraphrasing, he goes, "I've gotten tired of cleaning up Lou's shit." I basically cornered Stratton in the main ballroom.
They're talking about, he met him at a conference, I think 2 or 3 years ago. No, maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. And this was his first time after like having, like dealing with all the bullshit and kind of resurfacing in the topic and just trying to figure out like what the fuck happened to me? What happened to my life, bro? These past few years. Hey, a lot of people have been in your shoes, Jeremy McGowan. They get close to Lou and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Anyway, so he's asking Stratton about it. Here's him recounting the story.
Of the conference.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him. And
I can just imagine you. Hey, come here. Just
well, no, I stood behind me. I think he was talking to James Keenan at the time.
Okay.
And James had a booth there. Stratton was standing there talking to James. Stratton's wife was about 3 or 4 paces behind Stratton. And I just stood there and listened for a few minutes. And then I just tapped Stratton on the shoulder. And I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you know who I am." I introduced myself. He goes, "Yeah, I know who you are." I was like, "Okay. The only reason I'm talking to you is because I wrote these series of articles on Lou." He goes, "I'm aware." And I said, "I just want to know if I'm on the mark, if those were legitimate experiences that I had, or what your take is." And I will preface this by saying, I asked Stratton for a picture. He allowed me to take a picture of him, and he asked that the picture not be posted on social media. And I have not posted the picture on social media. He did not ask me to not divulge our conversation on social media. He only asked me not to post the picture. Because at the time, I think it was timing context, Stratton wasn't known to be at the conference. He was there with Travis Taylor at the conference. Anyway, when Stratton replied to me about Lou, he told me exactly what Lou did with ATIP. And he said it wasn't Lou's program.
In other words, what Lou's job was.
He told me that Lou never ran ATIP. Now, I will say that Stratton did speak as if ATIP was an actual program, but he never confirmed.
And real quick, just to prevent Lucas from scheming against us. Yeah, so he's talking about the whole ATIP saga timeline. Fun. Let's throw in a little bombshell.
Lou's program. He said it was his program. He told me that he selected Lou because of Lou's knowledge of people and other programs. And I'm paraphrasing this. I'm not saying an exact quote because I didn't take notes, but I'm paraphrasing this from memory. Stratton said that he chose Lou to bring access to ATIP of other programs. And I was like, what do you mean? And this is where I'm paraphrasing. He goes, and again, not a direct quote, don't hold me to this, but this was the gist of what Stratton was talking about. For example, if ATIP was looking at an incursion of Chinese drones over, let's say, the USS Roosevelt or something like that, and there is another department within the DoD that has that information, and ATIP did not have access to that information, and they couldn't put two and two together. They couldn't do a full analysis on the case because they didn't have access to that information. Stratton would pick up the phone. He would call Lou. Lou would make an introduction to the person that ran that operation, and then Stratton would have access to the information that he needed. Lou did not research, according to Stratton, Lou did not research UFOs or aliens or anything on behest of ATIP. Lou was a facilitator of introductions.
And we've heard him say that himself. We've heard him say he's not into UFOs, never has been, never will be. He's a counterintelligence, counterinsurgency guy.
But that came from Stratton. Stratton told me that Lou did not run ATIP. Furthermore, Stratton also said,
good night, Lola. And
this is a quote. This is not a paraphrasing. He goes, I've gotten tired of cleaning up Lou's shit.
Damn, and when this broke a few years back, this was like one of the first little indicators that there's this kind of Stratton Elizondo riff. But he's about to get into the media thing. That's all just kind of backstory about McGowan's Stratton. Some people might find it interesting.
But at the same time, he went on to say, Lou does really necessary work that I need him to do. And he wasn't talking in past. He was talking in present. And that was this year. This wasn't, prior to him leaving in 2017 or whenever he left. That was this year, right? Stratton said, Lou does work I need him to do. And I asked Stratton what he meant by that. And I prefaced it by saying, why is all of this going out to podcasts? Why is it going to social media? Why is it, what is happening? And he says, and this is paraphrasing, this
is the key part here. This is what everyone needs to take in if there's anything you take away from this episode, even more than the back channel end of the world shit. This is a really important framework, I think, for people to understand when looking at the UFO landscape and media information and all the bullshit.
Says, when I need something done, if I can't get it done by direct asked, I have to go out and use the media. And he says, I use the legitimate media. I don't use the Daily Mail or I don't use Liberation Times. I use the legitimate media.
He was on the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, he goes, I use it to embarrass the people that denied me access to what I need access to. And I took that to mean that what we're seeing in the media isn't necessarily true. It's what Stratton and whomever Stratton was working with or for or beside of, they would craft, they would put it together, and then some general somewhere is getting a call from a congressman saying, what the hell is going on with these werewolves? And it embarrasses the shit out of the general, and he doesn't want it. And then he picks up the phone and he's like, okay, Jay, cut it off. I'll get you the information that you need. Just pull that story. Don't talk about it anymore, which explains why things come out. They get a lot of visibility.
So do you guys see what I mean? Like, these people, they come from a different breed. And the funny thing about this, the meta thing about this, is that Stratton telling him this at the thing is an example of it, right? And even us covering it right now is an example of how they play this game, right? They're happy to embarrass generals, right? Like, I don't do that. Like, I mean, I guess kind of now I do if they're being evil, but these people play with information in a way that's, like, I think not really how normal people do. Tuba had a good point when we brought it up earlier in space. He was like, most people just like kind of use information if they need it and then they move on. But like these kind of people like hold on to information, they weaponize it, and then they'll try and embarrass someone very publicly to an end. So that kind of ties into the stuff we were talking about yesterday too with Luna. Or I'm going to clip some stuff up from Susan Gerbic. Like a lot of this shit could be done in the back channels, but it's being done publicly because they're using embarrassment and information and the threat of information and all this shit to like push and prod people in reality to get what they want. So maybe we'll let it ride just for fun, but
and then they die because the goal was achieved. Stratton got what he wanted because he used the mainstream media to force the issue in a way that wasn't that actual issue.
So then he's forcing, and we'll just use UFOs because that's the, I mean, I'm trying to think of what the mainstream, I'm thinking, of course, of News Nation, and it seems like they're pushing the narrative of, recovered, crashed, clandestine programs.
And if he was to use the media to embarrass a general,
companies like Lockheed Martin, Skunkworks, things like that.
So certain things happen. If Stratton was to do that, and if he was to use the media to embarrass a general to make sure that he got access that he was denied to previously, this
is why Lou did that shit publicly with Luna. This is why Lou doxed those people's emails. Like, they know what they're doing, guys. These people are masters of like manipulation.
Story is going to take on a life of its own. Stratton doesn't control the media.
Right.
So News Nation could pick this up and they could run with it and they could see their viewership explode, and then they could stay on it, and then they could develop other contacts and other sources, and then, confirmation bias, and just continue to run with it while Stratton's job's already done. He got the information that he needed through the embarrassment of the general, and the general's sitting back there going, Jesus Christ, I need to tell the guy the truth the first time that he asks because I don't want to suffer this anymore.
Well, so then let's use real quick just the example of Burchett, Luna, and
see what I mean? Like these people are cut from a different cloth. Let me throw in a meme again, just so we're transformative.
If I eventually sue somebody, I got to figure out, who's really worth it and who can I make a statement with, and who will people look at and say, wow, that was a hell of a lesson that was taught. I'm not going to do anything illegal or that hurts national security simply because some armchair quarterback who's been sitting in his mother's basement in his underwear demands answers from me. If you think you can do a better job, then get your butt out of the chair, go get a job.
Going to Eglin Air Force Base, getting denied by the general on the base, saying you guys are not allowed to see this shit. And so what you're saying is then he would, once he kicks those idiots off the base, then he would call Jay Stratton and say, okay, I'll give you what you're looking for on the program that these guys are looking access to. And then so they get the answers to that program. And then what?
Then whatever Stratton's job is continues. Whatever his job was, I should say.
Do you think that job is trying to get, do you think he's actually then trying to get some kind of disclosure truth out of that tactic?
No, I think he's doing a job inside the government, investigating something that may link to national security, Chinese foreign technology developments, incursions into restricted airspace, things like that.
Now that makes sense.
Honest
like
if
all right, so that's just kind of the thing I wanted to leave you guys with today. I'm probably going to close it out here. It was a fun stream, and yeah, happy Friday, everyone. Take that in what he just said. The way these people play the media, and think about that when we have, Jon Davies coming into my thing.
Well, I guess you're sounding good now.
All the people he's connected with. We covered Hal Puthoff. He's covered close to Stratton. Now we're covering it. You know what I mean? And then we also got Pavel. I feel like someone did that to Pavel. Not saying like he's bad or wrong or anything like that. Just consider the way information flow works in this space. Everyone, even with me, right? Everything. Why is Red saying what he's saying? What information flow is like everything here. All right. Peace out. God bless.